Hey, what's going on, Run? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another Sneak video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the ultimate Onslaught build for the Hunter. This is another build that I've been using that I've just been loving, and it's really good, especially if you're playing with like blueberries or in a team. Doesn't matter which one you're playing with, I think you're going to enjoy this build. So I'll show you everything that makes up this build, show you how it works, tell you how to play with the build, and, also show you some gameplay. But let's not waste any more time, let's start looking at this build. So the purpose of this build is just to stop the enemies in their track by suspending them and then just blowing them up with strand AoE abilities. So today we're here on the Strand Hunter. I feel like the super for the Strand Hunter is specifically really good in Onslaught. It can be good for either dealing with some of the big guys, like the bosses, doing some damage to them, or use if you're getting overwhelmed, it could be your panic button. You pop your super and just clear the area. So I really like the Seal Strike. I feel like it does very well in Onslaught. So that's a nice little bonus. But now onto the abilities, aspects, fragments. First of all, for the grenade, we are running the shackle grenades. I actually messed around with like different versions of the build. Some with shackle grenades, some with grapples. And it ended up just being that the shackle grenades just seem to be a little bit more impactful. And it's always nice to have a shackle grenade in case you don't have another way of suspending things. You can just quickly suspend them with the shackle grenade. Now for the aspects, our first aspect is the Dread Spectre. Whenever we activate our class ability, we leave behind a decoy that kind of gets the attention of enemies. And if they get too close, it does like damage to enemies around and it spawns some threatenings. The decoy is really underrated for this mode. The decoy not only takes attention away from you, but it will take attention away from the turrets, the actual decoys that you buy with your scrap, and most importantly, the actual objective. So the enemies won't like hit the objective, they won't hit you, they will hit the decoy. So we're gonna be spamming decoys as much as we can, whenever we can. Our second aspect is the Whirlwind Maelstrom, and it's just the Blade. The Blade is great, not only for doing single target damage to like a big guy, but it's also great for just dealing with groups of ads. Whenever we destroy a tango, spawns the Blade, and it just kind of takes care of a bunch of ads. It unravels enemies. It's just really good at clearing. So the Blade was like an easy choice for this mode. And it puts in the work. It puts in the work. Whenever we make a tango, we blow it up, it kills a bunch of ads. And then the Blade just goes around and like cleans them up. And if there's a new boy spawning, then it starts killing those guys as well. It's like crazy how many Blades you can have, especially if you have like multiple people running strand. But even if it's just you running strand, then you still have a lot of Blades as well. Pretty much every time that you can make a tango, since we're suspending so many things, you're gonna make one, and there's gonna be lots of Blades just kind of like going all around. Next up for the fragments, we have Thread of Mind. Defeating suspended targets grants class ability energy. This is really good. We're going to be able to spam our clones even faster thanks to us getting all that free ability energy from killing suspended targets. So as long as we're suspending enemies, which is like the main thing we do with this build, we're going to be getting tons of class ability energy. Next up, we have Thread of Regeneration. Dealing damage generates grenade energy. This is just good. You just get faster grenades as long as we're doing some damage. There's tons of ads here, so we're always getting tons of energy back. Next up, we have Thread of Warding, which is going to give us Woven Mail whenever we pick up an overpower. This is really good. Woven Mail is still fantastic for like just surviving. It's just fantastic survivability. And the good thing about it is that since we're making so many orbs in this place, not only you, but your teammates as well, you pretty much always have Woven Mail. So I think this one's definitely a must-have. It makes like surviving just easier and just straight up just taking more damage. And the final strand fragment we have is Thread of Fury. Damaging targets with the tango grants melee energy. So this is gonna be so we can get our melee back faster. And yes, the blade damage does count as tango damage. So one blade pretty much gets us a melee back fully. Sometimes even more. It is actually crazy the amount of energy you get with the blade. At first I wasn't sure if it was actually gonna work that way, but it does. So you're gonna be getting tons of melee energy, so make sure you spam your melees as well. You pretty much want to spam your grenades, melees, clones, you're just trying to get everything out there. Now for the exotic that we're running with this build is the 6 Coyote, which gives second dodge charge. And it's pretty simple, but that's all that we need. We're just going to be able to spam our dodge more and just get more clones out there. Now moving on to the mods that we got on this build. For the helmet, we have Heavy Ammo Scout, Heavy Ammo Finder, and a Harmonic Siphon, just so we can make some extra orbs. For our gauntlets, we have Harmonic Loader, Momentum Transfer, so we can like get our grenade back a little faster, and Fastball, so we can throw the grenade farther away in case the enemies are far. For our chest piece, we pretty much just have whatever resistance it is that day. It might be different the day that you watch this video, so make sure you check that before going into Onslaught. But for today is solar, so we have some solar, and concussive dampener is always like a good one to have. Now, for the boots, we are running Absolution, Oversoul Restoration, and Recuperation. Recuperation is for healing whenever we pick up some Oversoul Power. So not only do we get Woven Mail, but we also heal. And then Oversoul Restoration and Absolution both do a similar thing. Whenever we pick up Oversoul Power, it reduces my ability cooldowns, so we get ability energy for all our abilities. So once again, this is just to kind of help us spam abilities even more. Our clones, our shackle grenades, our melees, all of this is just so we can spam more abilities. Now for the class item, we're running Reaper, which is going to make it so we make more Oversoul Power when using our class ability. We're going to be spamming that class ability, so might as well take advantage of it and make some more power with it. We have Bomber, which is going to reduce the cooldown of our grenade when using our class ability. And lastly, we have Powerful Attraction to kind of just collect all the orbs at once we hit our class ability. This is really good because we don't really have to go out of our way to go get the orb. To proc Woven Mail, we just have to hit our class ability, and we're probably going to be hitting our class ability anyways. So we're just getting all these things to activate. The Woven Mail, the getting the extra energy back from picking up orbs. All of that stuff is happening just by hitting our class ability. Now moving on to the exotic weapon we're using with this build is the main star of the show, the Wishkeeper. We're using the Wishkeeper for its ability to suspend just tons of targets and just being able to hold down an area. You shoot a Wishkeeper trap down the hallway, ads are not going to go through that hallway. Not only because they're going to get suspended, but also after you suspend them and you kill one of them, they spawn a tangle, you blow up the tangle, kill a bunch of them, and then the blade goes in and just cleans up a bunch of them as well. If they somehow make it through all the traps, then you could throw your grenade at them, suspend more of them, create another tangle, and the cycle just continues. The thing about it is also while they're suspended, they take more damage from the bow. So if you killed some of the suspended targets with the bow, that builds up charges for you to just shoot another one. So as long as you keep suspending targets, killing them with the bow, you're going to be able to just continue the process and suspend more. So this is going to be like the main way of suspending targets, and if we don't have it charged up, then we have our Shackle Grenade as a backup. I actually ended up loving the Wishkeeper a lot more than I expected to. This is like the second Wishkeeper build that we made, and I just really like it, man. It just really works very well for whenever there's a lot of ads. Any activity where you know where the ads are coming from is really good for the Wishkeeper, and this is like the perfect activity for it. And the best thing about it is that this is a primary weapon, so we're not using special, we're not using heavy. And while it's not going to be great against everything that you suspend, like if there's a wave of ogres coming, I would pretty much say shoot your traps and then switch over to your heavy and just finish them off with that, because shooting with the bow is just not going to be worth it. Shooting them with the bow is pretty much going to be for like some of the smaller ads, or when you're building up your traps, because you're building them up just by hitting crits, so that's a good way to build them up. But there's just a big wave of big ads, just fire off your traps, switch over to your heavy, and finish it off that way. But even then, even if the bow is not the thing that you're using to kill these targets, it still just provides that unbelievable amount of utility, being able to suspend so many things with this exotic perk. Now for your special and your heavy weapon, there's no specific ones that I'm going to recommend. But I did run the Indebted Kindness, the Dungeon Sidearm, just for the barriers, and then I ran a rocket. But you can mix and match whichever special and heavy you like. The only thing that's like required for the build is really the Wishkeeper. The other two can be whatever you feel like you need. Now there's a couple other mods that we're also using from the artifact. We are using Unraveling Orbs, picking up an orb power, grant strand weapons, Unraveling Rounds. Unraveling Rounds are really good because they used to add a bit of extra ad clear on top of everything we're doing. We also have Dragon's Bite, breaking a combatant shield with a strand of stasis weapon has a chance to suspend them. So whenever we break a shield with our bow, there's a chance that whatever that thing that was shielded gets suspended. You know, it's just a little extra thing to add to our build. And the last artifact perk is Horse Shuttle, damaging unravel targets with weapons, occasionally spawns some threat leads. So whenever you shoot anything after getting those unraveling rounds, then you can spawn some threat leads sometimes. Threat leads are just, you know, a little bit of extra damage. It's a nice little bonus. When everything's working together, you'll be surprised by the amount of like unravel and threat leads and suspensions that are happening. And then you see the blade in there. It's a lot more accurate than you would think for a bow. And that's the final part of the build. The build is complete now. I'll make sure to leave a link in the comments, so go down there if you wanna equip this build with them. But yeah, this thing actually ended up surprising me. I thought about using this bow as soon as I heard the Onslaught was like a tower defense bow, but I definitely didn't expect it to do as well as it ended up doing. Most of the time you want to start off the wave by just kind of like picking things up with the bow, set up your traps, all that. While you're doing that, also remember to just kind of spam your clones. Every now and then you get it back super fast, so might as well get some of them out there. Also because you make orbs, extra orbs after using your class ability. So if you use using your class ability, it's also going to be helping not only you get more orbs, but also your teammates, so they can get some supers, so they can get their abilities back. It just kind of adds more things to their rotation. But yeah, it's really good for stopping the waves in their tracks, just suspending them and killing them that way. And it's just really good ad clear. What can I say? I was having a lot of fun with this in normal Onslaught, on the Legend Onslaught. It's just a really good build all around. But I hope you guys like the build, and if you do, make sure afterwards to come back and tell me what you guys think about it. But anyways, thank you all for stopping by today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care everyone, have a good day. Peace.